Ladies and gentlemen, you do not need more willpower. You just need a lab coat, because the fastest way to upgrade your life is not white-knuckling yet another routine. It's running tiny experiments on yourself until the truth just can't be ignored. Today, I'm going to hand you a simple rebel scientist playbook to build momentum without burnout. If you've ever felt guilty for not being disciplined enough, good. We're about to light that guilt on fire and turn it into fuel.
Your Success DNA podcast. Your success is in your DNA.
What is up? What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Your Success DNA, the podcast for my inspiring entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and 9-to-5 escapees. Each episode, my friends, is going to deliver mindset shifts, habit upgrades with a dose of rebellion, helping you break away from the convention to build not just a business, but a life aligned with your version of success. And if you know someone who dreams of ditching the grind and still makes time for some personal development, a little self-help out there, always trying to improve themselves, then maybe you want to forward this podcast on to them. Okay, so first, today we're going to talk about experimenting yourself, why discipline is overrated, and why curiosity wins every single time. First, I want to flip a sacred cow right on its ear. Why discipline-first approaches backfire for most people, and what you should be using instead. Next, we're going to talk about this story about a messy, miraculous lab where experiments create breakthroughs that you can't seem to force to happen. And then I'm going to give you a step-by-step system to design micro habits, test them in real life, and iterate without guilt, without drama, and with no burnout. Okay, so let's get stuck right in. Here's the problem with discipline, in my humble opinion. It assumes that you already know what the right behavior is. Oh, so many of us don't, right? But most of the time, you don't. You have an idea, you have some assumptions, maybe you even have some hunches. And of course, you get lots of secondhand advice from someone, myself included, whose life does not look at all like yours. You are working from rules from a version of you that no longer fits. Here's the thing. I want you to think of discipline as a hammer, but I want you to think of experimentation as a microscope. A hammer says, hit the damn thing harder. A microscope says, look at it closer. If your results are inconsistent, if your willpower drains away by Wednesday, you don't have a discipline problem, ladies and gentlemen. You have a data problem. And data is what experiments will give you. Not judgy, not moral, not whimsical, just pure, clean data. Do more of this, do less of that. No panic, no drama, just truth. Here's the thing. You don't lack discipline. You lack feedback. So you need to run the experiment we're about to discuss, okay? Picture this for a moment. I want you to picture a long, sunlit room with big windows and a floor that has seen quite a few spills. Some of you parents will relate to this. Glass speakers are sitting on steel tables. Bunsen burners are flickering with their blue-yellow flame. Notes are taped to the cabinets, and handwriting is lightning fast, messy, but precise. This, my friends, this is your lab. On the table on the left, there's a clear vial labeled identity. It's the stuff that you believe about who you are. On the right is a tray of droppers labeled inputs: sleep, nutrition, focus blocks, movement, social bandwidth, money decisions, relationship thoughts, media intake. And in the center, a large open notebook labeled hypotheses. Yeah, that's the magic word right there. The magic word is not goals, not shoulds, not woulds, not coulds. Hypotheses. Possibilities that you, my friends, are brave enough to test. In this lab, you don't fail. You never fail. You discover. You're like the Thomas Edison of habits. You try a 2-minute writing ritual before work for 7 days. Not hard. You observe your mood, you observe your output, and you observe your ease. If it works, you scale it. If it fizzles, you tweak it. If it's wrong for you, you release it into the wind without judgment, and you try another idea. A cousin idea, a sibling idea. I don't care, just another idea.
Your Success DNA podcast. Your success is in your DNA.
Here's the thing. The lab doesn't punish. The lab reveals. Some weeks, your experiments will look boring to the outside world, almost ridiculous in their smallness. 1 minute of breath work, swapping afternoon coffee for tea, moving your phone charger to the guest bedroom so you won't fall asleep scrolling. But in the lab, the small is sacred. You are adjusting little levers in a complex system called you. And here's where it gets beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. When you treat your life and your habits like a lab, you stop arguing with your past, you stop negotiating with your guilt, and you stop outsourcing your authority to gurus, myself included. Because the lab runs on reality. What works, works. What doesn't, doesn't. No shame required. In this lab, curiosity has to be your chief scientist. Identity, that's your periodic table, and habits are your regions. And your notebook, well, that's the record of a real human getting honest with what actually is going to move the damn needle. Okay, so let me give you the step-by-step rebel scientist system we're going to use right here. And you asked for a step-by-step, and so here's the lab protocol I teach my clients and I use myself. 5 moves, tight loop, minimum friction, maximum learning. Step 1, define one outcome, not personality. I want you to pick one outcome for the next 7 days. Not a new identity like I'm now a 5 a.m. person. No, one outcome, small, obvious, and testable. Say something like, by next Sunday, I want to draft 700 words for my offer. Or I want to complete 3 25-minute focus blocks on my side project. Or I want to do 5 micro workouts. Notice how the outcome is countable. It's trackable. The lab loves numbers because numbers, they talk back. Step 2, write a 1-sentence hypothesis. Take your best guess about what behavior might create that outcome with the least resistance. Make it a sentence that you can test. As a hypothesis, I believe a 2-minute pre-workout ritual, breathe, water, open doc, write one ugly sentence, will make my 25-minute focus block easier and double my odds of completing it. Okay? That right there, my friends, is a testable claim. You're not promising the moon. You're not promising euphoria. You're asking reality a question, and trust me, reality always answers. Step number 3, build the micro habit. And we're going to use the 3M rule, and we're not talking about the company that makes those Post-it notes. A micro habit equals minimum, mechanical, and measurable. Minimum, make it laughably small. 1 minute, 1 rep, 1 sentence. If your brain rolls its eyes and says, that's too easy, you're probably doing it right. Mechanical. I want you to remove decisions. Pre-decide the playlist, pre-decide the doc, the timer, the time slot, the location. Set it once. So it's just mechanical. You just do it. And then make it measurable. The habit ends with something you can count. 1 ugly sentence, 1 minute of squats, 1 email drafted, 1 call made. Whatever it is. You don't trust motivation. You trust mechanics. Okay? Step number 4, install the starting line. You got 2 pieces here. One is the artifact. This is the physical cue that you can literally reach out and touch. Maybe you keep a cheap kitchen timer on your desk, and when you click it, the brain knows 25 minutes, no meetings, and no phone. Boom, there it is. Whatever physical cue you want to use. And then there's the anchor. I want you to anchor your micro habit to something you're already doing. After I pour coffee, I open my writing doc and I type 1 sentence. The coffee is the anchor. The doc is the artifact. Huh? You see? You start to feel how smooth that is? You could do this with anything. And then step number 5, run a 7-day sprint with a 3-point daily log. For 7 days, run the test. Every day, log 3 quick things. Did I start? How hard was it to start? And what changed afterwards? Did I start is an easy yes or no. You just write it down, yes I did, or no I didn't, and you keep count. How hard was it to start? Now this is a scale from 1 to 5. I call 1 butter and 5 barbed wire. That's how hard it was, okay? If it was in the middle, it's 2.5.
Your Success DNA podcast. Your success is in your DNA.
And then what changed afterward? 1 sentence. Was it a mood? Was it an output? Was it your energy level? Writing this down each day for 7 days, it only takes a minute, but it turns your whole week into a sensor. And then step 6, review this like a scientist. 15 minutes, and it's not a courtroom, ladies and gentlemen. On day 8, you sit with your notebook and ask, what was my start rate? How many days did I start? Count up all the yeses, okay? It's 1/7 or it's 7 out of 7, whatever it is. What is your average friction rate, right? Is it butter or barbed wire? Right? All those 1 to 5 scores, what's the average of those scores? And then what is the after effect? Scan your notes for how you felt afterwards and look for patterns. Did your habit improve your energy? Did it improve your mood? Did it improve your output? Here's the rule. If the start rate is greater than 5 of 7 and the friction rate is less than 2.5, scale it a little bit for next week. Add 5 more minutes, add 1 more sentence, add something to it, add 1 little thing to it, that little tweak. If the start rate is low and the friction is high, you need to tweak it. Maybe you make it a little smaller. Maybe you change the time of day. Maybe you swap the anchor. If it flatlined your energy or created some weird side effects, chuck it. You want to replace it with some other cousin habit, sibling habit, some other habit. Same goal, but you're going to take a different path. No shame, just adjustments, like a scientist would. And last but not least, I'm going to give you step number 7. You want to chain the experiments into momentum. Look, ladies and gentlemen, you don't need a 90-day boot camp. You need 4 weekly experiments in a row. That's a month of clean data, clean feedback. At the end of the 4 sprints, you're going to know your best starting window. That's going to be that time block of your day when your brain is most cooperative. You're going to know your ideal ritual, those 2 or 3 actions that really flip your switch into the on mode. And you're going to know your keystone micro habits. Those are those few small moves that create outsized returns. In other words, you put 1 in and you got 2 or 3 or 4 or more back, okay? Lock those in. That, my friends, is your POC, your personal operating code. That is lab-driven protocol, not a borrowed routine from some damn guru out there. Again, myself included. Now, there's about 4 pitfalls I've seen most folks fall into. Let me give you some quick fixes for those. Pitfall number 1, you decide the habit for your fantasy self, not your Tuesday self. No. Your fix is to right-size it to a 1-minute minimum. If you can't do it on your worst day, it's not a micro habit. It's wishful thinking in gym shorts, okay? Pitfall number 2, you're chasing streaks and then you crash when you miss 1, all right? In the lab, streaks are cute, but not sacred. You value your start rate over perfectionism. Did you miss a day? That's fine. Log it, learn, and continue. Pitfall number 3, you think more is the only way to scale. Scaling can be wider, not just longer. Keep the duration the same, but maybe you add a second rep later in the day, or keep the length and add quantity. Like editing the sentence you wrote, whatever it might be. I wrote 2 sentences. Well, let's go through and make sure those are good sentences. Okay. And then pitfall number 4, you treat every result like a referendum on your personal worth. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to repeat after me. I'm not failing, I'm sampling. Your nervous system will calm down when data isn't tied to your identity. Okay? Let me give you 3 little examples in here. I had a client that wanted to write before bed. The hypothesis was late night is quiet and it's great for deep work. Okay. The reality said, nope, not a fact. Because after their first week, their start rate was 2 out of 7. Their friction was 4.7 out of 5. And the after effect was brain fog the next morning. So we moved the exact same ritual to lunchtime. The start rate, 6 out of 7. Still not perfect, but man, it was way better, right? The friction dropped down to 1.8. The words per week tripled. Same person, different lever, okay? And let's talk about another client who swore that she needed a 2-hour time block to think. But the lab showed 25 minutes with a strict phone exile outperformed long blocks of time because interruptions nuked her focus time anyway. Micro habit, timer, printed checklist. The start rate, 7 out of 7. The friction, 2.1.
Your Success DNA podcast. Your success is in your DNA.
And here's the kicker for this one. She got promoted afterwards. The promotion followed because her output became undeniable. Okay, let me leave you with this quick little example. 1 minute of box breathing before any hard task can reduce your friction score by 2 points on average. That, my friends, is not vibe, it's math. 1 minute, move the world. All right, that comes from real world experience. Okay, so if this episode hitting home even a little bit, then you're exactly who should be listening to this podcast, and you should jump over and get the Unleash Your Success DNA newsletter. It's a newsletter for my aspiring entrepreneurs and the 9-to-5 escapees who want a life that fits their truth. Every issue delivers mindset shifts, habit upgrades, all with that same dose of rebellion you're getting here, so you can stop arguing with your potential and start using it. Join the list, grab your lab coat, and let's build your POC, your personal operating code, week by week. Now, let's zoom out if we can and answer the question that I hear many of you asking, coming across my magic headphones right now. Tracy, why does this even matter? Because most people try to change by force. They believe in shame and white knuckles and borrowed blueprints from the gurus out there. That path burns bright. Don't get me wrong, it does burn bright, but only burns bright for about a week. Then it dies with a hiss. Okay? Look, experimentation is different. It respects your complexity. It accepts that you are a moving, breathing system of cycles and seasons. It trusts evidence over ego. And that, my friends, is a revolutionary stance in a culture addicted to one size fits all. When you switch from, I must become more disciplined, to, I am a scientist testing things in my own life, a lot of noise is going to disappear. You become calm. You become curious. And curiosity, my friends, is a better engine than guilt will ever be. Here's a bigger paradigm. Identity through iteration. Don't wait to become the kind of person who writes, builds, ships, speaks, loves, leads. You act like them now in micro ways. You collect proof, you update your self-image, and then you act again. Identity is going to follow evidence every single time. Okay? Now, let me give you my bit of whiskered wisdom. This is how we're going to end every episode from now on. I think I did it in the last episode as well, but man, this is how I finish this all off. I want you to remember this. You're not lazy. You're under-instrumented. I'm a car guy, so I get this. The answer is not a harder hammer, a bigger swing of the hammer. The answer is a better microscope. I want you to do this right after you finish listening to this episode. I want you to write one 14-word hypothesis that you can test in the next 7 days. Then make one micro habit. It's only going to be 1 minute long. It's going to be mechanical and it's going to be measurable. Choose one artifact. It could be a timer, a printed checklist, a sticky note, it could be, right? And then one anchor, coffee, lunch, commute, whatever it might be. Maybe yours is sitting in line when you pick up your kids from school. That could be your anchor. Set yourself up a 3-point log in your notes app, whatever notes app you happen to have, or create a blank Google Doc and start. And what you want to track is, how many times did I start? What was the friction level? Remember, 1 to 5, butter to barbed wire. And what was the effect afterwards? That's it. 4 moves today, not tomorrow, not when your schedule eases up. Today is the only lab time that you, my friend, are guaranteed to have. So and here's something I want you to remember. I want you to make it so small, you can't say no. So specific, you can't get lost. And so measurable, you can't lie, okay? Because again, you're not lazy, you're under-instrumented. The world says push harder. The lab says look closer. Today, run that one experiment, 1 minute, one move. Replace judgment with data and discipline with curiosity. And when you're ready for that next upgrade, come on over and join the lab. Get yourself on the Your Success DNA newsletter. Again, every issue is going to give you mindset shifts, habit upgrades, and a little rebellion to help you build your freedom on your terms. This week, you didn't just learn about habits. You learned how to test them like a scientist. You stopped worshiping at the altar of discipline, and you started courting discovery and curiosity. That, my friends, is how momentum is built, not in perfect streaks, but in courageous, curious repetitions. You're not here to follow someone else's blueprint, even if it's mine. You're here to unleash your success DNA, one micro habit at a time. Think successfully and take action.
Thanks for listening to Your Success DNA podcast. Whether you're starting out or you're a seasoned entrepreneur, we have the tools and inspiration that you need to take your life to the next level. So stay tuned for more game-changing advice in our upcoming episodes. And hey, before you go, a quick reminder to check out our past episodes of Your Success DNA for more inspiring stories and practical advice. And if you've loved what you heard, leave us a review and share this podcast with your friends and colleagues. Let's all level up our lives together, shall we? Remember, your success is in your DNA.